Hi guys, thanks for clicking on my video. I am Skylar Skytana, and today, in the anticipation of the tiny house pack coming out in just a few days, I think it's coming out tomorrow. I'm too lazy to look it up. I know it's coming up soon. But in lieu of that, I decided to give my all in trying the tiny house challenge that has been going on, going through the internet just a little bit ago. It came up during a little SimZ video called "I Attacked the Sims 4, so the devs made me do an impossible build challenge." Frowny face. And so, SimGuru Frost's rules to her was to build a tiny house that cost under 12,000 simoleons. It had to house 3 Sims, 2 parents, and 1 kid. And you couldn't use the bb.move objects or bb.show hidden objects. And it had to be a max of 32 tiles of enclosed space. So I thought I'd give that my all, give it my try to challenge that. Yes. So let's go ahead and give it a try. All right, so here we go with my first ever voiceover build. You guys can see how horrible I did with this challenge. Like, honestly, I thought like I was gonna have a lot of fun with this, but it was a challenge. As you can see, I had this idea in my mind to start out. Like, it'd be really cool. We could have 2 of these boxes to start out with, and they'd be kind of bridged by this walkway with a glass ceiling above it, where you could have like seating and maybe a dining table, or maybe even like a sink out there, maybe. But as both of those boxes right now are our 32 or 32 tiles by themselves, it looks like it can't really I made the decision that those weren't going to be good enough for having it be 2 bedrooms, because we need 1 bedroom for the 2 parent Sims, and then we need the other one for the child Sim. And just having them have to walk through 1 bedroom to get to another, kind of like how I'm doing with these 2 boxes. I thought making it be a little longer would kind of help me look through it, but it just didn't work, so I ended up having to scrap that idea completely, just sticking with a single boring box for our enclosed 32 tile area. And I decided that 32 tile area is going to be our, in combination, the 2 bedrooms for the kid and the parents, and the bathroom, because I think the bathroom being outside would have been a very awkward something to do. I couldn't think about building that. So right now I'm just kind of thinking about putting a porch or a patio around the whole building, trying to figure out how big I should make it, because I have to fit basically the living room and the kitchen and the dining room outside of this little 32 tile box, because there's no room for that in there at all. So I'm spending a lot of time here just kind of thinking it through, playing with the shapes here. And then of course I had to like look up the rules again to see like, okay, it was 32, so here I am counting to make sure that I have exactly the amount of tiles that I'm supposed to have. And I also found out, like, yes, it has to be under 12,000, which was something that, as you're going to see towards the end of the episode, was something that I was worrying with, because I kept going over just by like 100. So right now, I decided that flipping the lot backwards so that the big patio would be the entrance of the house, except besides the actual house, kind of give it like a little walkway going up. And instead of moving it again, I just kind of moved the patio there, because I wanted steps going up to this patio area and up to the house. I wanted the patio to like wrap around the shell of the house completely, eventually. Like right now I'm like playing around with it, being like, yeah, no, I don't need it around all that much. And so yeah, I'm just putting in placeholders right now. I think I end up using that door as the front door, but I'm just kind of grabbing doors and stuff as I'm going to just play around with the objects, because as one of the rules said, you can't use move objects, you can't use bb.moved objects, you can't use any of the free build items, and you can't use any cheats whatsoever. So kind of trying to make everything fit without using like our alt place, and without having stuff kind of intersect with our move objects cheat. It was a challenge, and it was a very nice challenge. And actually this building, right now I'm just trying to get the blueprint of what the inside is going to be, because obviously we need to fit 3 rooms inside of this tiny box. And so I end up making this really odd shape, which ended up being actually a really good shape for me to use. I was able to fit a child's bed, a double bed, and a fully functional bathroom inside of just this footprint here. As you can see, I'm just like grabbing beds and making sure that they'll be able to be used properly, with the doors and with the walls and everything in place, making sure that the Sims have enough room to actually get in the bed and to be able to sleep, and make sure that both sides of that bed are being able to be used by both the parent Sims. And right now I'm just kind of fixing around with it, but I like this challenge because it gave me a lot of ideas, or fun little ideas to be playing around with in the future. Like, I really want to build something using that 2 boxes connected with a glass bridge type idea. That sounded like a really, like, when I was thinking about it, I was getting excited, like, oh, this is going to be so cool. Like, I can have the living room, and I can have a bunch of tables out there so they could sit, and all the fairy lights like hanging down from the glass ceiling. That would be so much fun. So that idea popped up. Maybe I will execute it in another build. Maybe I'll just do it on the side for fun, because I love still playing The Sims for fun, and not for recording as I am doing right now. I haven't been able to been doing that yet, because right now I've just been wanting to play the Legacy with you guys. I actually had to play a part of the episode. Actually, I didn't have to play it outside of recording. My recording ended up not wanting to work. And not only my recording, but my audio capture that I've been using with my mic, the SD card ended up filling up about 3 minutes in, and I didn't notice until I finished completely with the episode. So I really truly was just sitting in my apartment talking to myself, thinking that I'm like, oh, I'm making all these smart aleck responses and ha ha ha, and only to find out that it hasn't been recording. So look out for the next episode of that, I think, coming up. I think either Wednesday or Friday. I think I decided on my uploading schedule that a Monday, Wednesday, Friday would be possible for me to be doing. Having that kind of day or two in between, trying to get the content out. Like, it helps not only me with not having to worry about it, and has it being more fun for me. But it also helps me like make the content like a lot better, and I don't have to rush it out as I probably would if I do it every day. So right now I kind of got the patio all going. It's everything in this, I just realized, is like a big ugly box. There's no fun bump outs or anything like that. I do end up making like these really nice glass ceiling portions to kind of house the 2 rooms that were outside, the kitchen / dining room, and the living room. As you can see, I'm like trying to figure out stuff with columns, because at one point I wanted like all of the patio to be under a glass roof, but then I thought, well, that's going to be a lot of money going towards columns, and that's something I don't need. But yeah, talking about the upload schedule, look out for more content. I think I'm going to have Fridays be my Legacy challenge day, maybe. That'll give me a few days from now here to get that uploaded, get it recorded, uploaded, and get it all ready for you guys to see. I played, like I said, I thought I was doing an episode, but I ended up not, which is good because nothing really happened in that episode. Like, I thought I met someone who we would finally make our husband to kind of start the legacy challenge with, like start our legacy. But he ended up very rudely denying our requests to be flirty. So we're still gonna keep at it. I'm going to probably record that one here either today or tomorrow. We're going to get a husband in that next episode, I promise. If that's the last thing I do, I don't care if I'm gonna have to play like hours, because I love that. I love like playing with Sylvia. She's a lot of fun so far. I really like her, and I like how I built. You guys haven't seen it yet because I haven't shown it because that video is completely dead now. But I spent, I think it was like 2 hours just doing the landscaping around her house with just live edit objects and like the hidden objects. And if you don't know how to get that, like you can't do the copy. You can't copy those objects. You have to actually find them in the catalog and take them out from that way. So if you find a plant that you really like, you have to get a lot of them from the catalog. So you just have to, I just had like, the front yard was all just this like mishmash podge of just a bunch of flowers all combine into one, because I was like, ooh, that could be cool. Ooh, that could be cool. And I just kept dragging like a whole bunch of them off. And so it was so hard to figure out what I was doing, like what flowers I wanted to keep where, because they were all just everywhere. I eventually got it all sorted out, and I am actually very proud of how it looks. It looks very cute. It looks like Sylvia just threw a bunch of flower seeds literally everywhere once she moved there, and it all just erupted into pretty flowers. And some of them were like a nice planters, and I think it's one of the better landscaping jobs than I did. For someone who doesn't like landscaping and is very scared to do landscaping, I had a lot of fun with that, especially with the after product, especially after seeing it with her house and with her living in there. It was like, this was a good idea. I liked it. There's like a nice little hedge that separates her from the sidewalk. It's really nice. So we're going to be getting our perfect plants. We're going to be working on trying to evolve these plants, these stupid basils and parsley. They are so close right now to being towards the first evolution, towards the perfect. But they don't need water because it keeps raining. Like, how am I supposed to take care of this and get my skill up if you won't let me water my plants? So right now I'm just kind of doing some boring kind of paint picking out. I had in my mind a kind of modernist kind of look to it, and if you know modern houses, like, it's just white paint basically on the outside with some maybe paneling for some like walls or something outside of windows, something like that. So I had it in my mind, I didn't want to do something like too hard or too boring, I guess, but I ended up just settling on this kind of yellow pale color because it kind of blended in with the outside, because the whole idea of modern buildings is to kind of is to blend in with the surroundings and to blend in with nature. And so there's a lot of oranges and there's a lot of pale yellows around here, especially with the sidewalk area there. So I thought that'd be a really good thing. And building roofs is so hard for me. I keep trying to click those stupid arrows, but I keep clicking just a little bit or the camera moves and it makes me miss it. So I have to click on the roof again. Roofing is something that is very, I don't like it because it's so, I don't know why, but I just have such a hard time dealing with roofs. Like, ever since I learned how to do some of those tricks of the trade with some of these roofs, like combining roofs into into each other to make them kind of look really cool. Before I knew how to do that, I hated it because I used to build like just straight boxes because I didn't know how to roof anything else. So right now I'm just playing around with the glass roof idea. I ended up not liking the black lines that were part of that roof, so I went with the Hipped? Is that the hip? I can't remember. But I ended up going with this one here. And I like how, even though I like pushed it all the way as short as it could go, it kind of had still this little lead up to the top of the other roof. Because what I ended up doing is just doing a bunch of half walls above the main box and doing that as the quote-unquote roof. I did some pebble color on the roof tiles of that. Yeah, here it is right here. Because I saw someone else do this as like their roof in one of their builds. And I thought it was it was a very nice look, like especially if it's something like in one of these desert builds that are kind of small. Like that's what some of the houses like in real life look like, you know? They have kind of like that indented roof look, and I like that look, especially with this building. It fit with that well. Gotta get that sip of Starbucks. I'm sorry. How was your days, everyone? I had a day at work, let me say. I hope that if you guys are working, I hope that you had an alright day. And you don't have to deal with, like, people. And if you do have to deal with people, then I hope it was not too bad. That the customers gave you an all right time and not a bad time at all. So I went to McDonald's after work today, and they're like, "You want a free shake?" Because they made an extra one, and I was like, "Sure." And then the girl, she's like, "Oh, I was gonna say, well, you got a free shake," but the other person, she snapped at me. I'm like, well, some people are just like, why is that? People are so mean. Like, we do that all the time at my work, where we sometimes we accidentally make a wrong thing, or we make an extra one of something, and we try to give it away to some of the customers, like, "Hey, do you want this free thing?" And a lot of people are like, "What are you talking about? No." And they're so ungrateful. Like, this is a free product. Why are you so angry that we're trying to give it to you? We're not trying to sell you anything. You already bought something. Just people in general amaze me with how just evil they could be, you know? Not evil. Evil's a bad word. Just kind of ornery. That's the word. Just they want to create chaos for other people. That's how they get their fun. Not me. I try to brighten everyone's day, one person at a time, basically, because there's too much negativity in this world. I don't need that. I'm trying so hard to be a positive person, and I know that some other people might be too. So, you know, try to be positive, because some people are trying to as well, and it's really hard to try to be positive when everyone else is trying their darndest to be just the most negative Nancy they could be. So that's kind of like a little too far off my ramblings here. Right now I'm trying to pick lights. I knew that I had to, because it's like a small area. I knew I didn't need that many lights to light the whole room there. So I went with like that cute little kid's light to kind of help cement that, yes, this is a kid's room. Because there's not really much else that they could use to show that. So I end up going with that. I end up having to change all of those lights except for the kids' ones, because I was, as I said, like, I think $200 over the $12,000 mark. So I was like, what else can I replace? Where else can I get money? And I'm like, the lights. And so I go back and I tried out these lights for the very, very, very cheap and the very, very, very bad First lights down there. I can't remember the name of them, but like, yeah, it's that line one that gives off literally no light, and it is the worst light. But I had to use it because I was literally just $200 away from my cutoff point. I'm like, I need more money. Where am I using all of this money? I end up having to change. I use my wicker chair, my fun wicker chair from laundry day. I end up having to change that for that seashell chair from City Living, because it's just a little too expensive. And I wanted to do this whole, because as you saw, I did some stairs leading off the patio in the back. I wanted to do kind of like a sit out area over there with maybe some potted plants area where you could garden, and maybe like an outdoor chair there. But as I said, I ran out of money, so that dream didn't live up. That was just kind of like, maybe I was envisioning that as maybe like you could just like throw the kid down there and be like, go play in the dirt, and he has all that space back there to go down maybe to the river and play tag in the backyard, that sort of thing, you know. Yeah, there was a lot that I really wanted to do with this build. I'd been thinking about it all day because I knew I was going to be doing this video. I'm just like putting down colors now. Right now I'm like, I don't care. I just want to get these down so I can be done and try to furnish the outside, and I'm running out of money. But I've been thinking about this all day because I knew I was going to be doing this recording. So I was like, what am I going to do? How am I going to build this tiny house for all of these people? And I had so many ideas. I wanted there to be a cute little sit-down area outside with like some desert ferns next to these nice garden chairs, and maybe some outdoor play stuff like the water balloons from Seasons or something like that. Didn't get to that because I ran out of money. So I think maybe I'm going to, this helped, this gave me a lot of ideas. It gave me a lot of inspiration for something that I could do next. I think maybe next build, I might try doing, I might try incorporating some of those ideas. Like, I really do want to do 2 separated living quarters attached with that bridge. I really want to do that, and then maybe that I could do. Oh yeah, so and then it could be like up on its foundation really high, and then you can have like the stairs going down from the middle of the porch down to like an outdoor area with maybe like a little pond and a little place to kind of sit and maybe read, talk with people. I don't know. One of those fun little places. So here's another one. Like, this is the thing that I actually was kind of excited about doing, was an outdoor kitchen. That's something that, like, once someone said it, I was like, oh, I want to do that. An outdoor kitchen? That sounds cool. I wasn't able to make it as well as I wanted to because of these challenges restrictions. So maybe next time when I get the chance to do an outdoor kitchen, I might be able to do it better. Like, maybe have it like, I am thinking about, you know, those fancy rooftop bars, or those rooftop restaurants on like the coasts, both coasts, but mainly California, where they have ceiling fans and fairy lights like draping down from everywhere, and they have just nice umbrella seats everywhere, and it's just a nice cozy thing. There's a fireplace off to a corner. I'm thinking one of those type of things. Like, now that I have like a ceiling fan to play around with The Sims here, I'm thinking about doing something like that, you know, like it's a very nice, very mellow and chill, kind of dark outside kitchen area. But this was just kind of I imagine this house is kind of this family's, it's kind of like their in-between home, because it is so small and they literally don't have anything. Like, the kid didn't have any toys. I feel so bad. Like, this is a barely, oh yeah, this is when like it was drying up there. The Sims. This is barely a house for those people. Like, they have room for a bed, and they have a ceiling over their heads. And that's about it. There's like, they have their essentials. They have the bed, they have the food, and they have a sitting area. And that's it. So I'm kind of imagining this as this family is kind of in between home. They're in between houses. Maybe the parents are in between jobs, because this is a very cheap house. It is under 12,000 simoleons to move into, like right now as is. And it's only that big, like as big, like this is as big as it's gonna get, as what you're seeing right now. I don't expand past this. It's just kind of playing around with the furniture now. This is as big as it gets, and these poor people are just stuck with what they are. There's not even room for like a desk in there. I mean, there could be like one of the apartment kind of one tile big desk, like maybe one of those, but there's like no room for anything in there. Like maybe the kid could fit a toy in the corner, maybe, if I especially once I'm able to use move objects and alt move and all that stuff again. Not being able to do that was a big thing. And especially like now that I had landscaped with all of the debug objects, not being able to do that was very hard. Like, it looks so boring on the outside. I'm like, I wish I could do something else to make it look better, but I can't. I ran out of money. I think I ended up, it ended up being like 11,980 simoleons, I think. I don't know. I know I was right on the cusp because I had to change lights to get it down past to it, because I needed to have a garbage can on the outside because there was a garbage can in the kitchen. And it kept pushing me over 12,000 by like 50 simoleons. I'm like, this is insane. Please just let me have a garbage. Like, you have the mailboxes for free. Why can't we have a free garbage? There was one literally like right across the street from here. Like, they could just bring, oh my gosh, they could just bring their trash over there, couldn't they? Well, you have a trash can on this here. That's all that matters. Okay, so now I'm just kind of finishing things off with with the furnishing there. I kind of like, I can't wait till I get better at this game because I love that little sitting area there. Like, if I was able to have a lot more simoleons and I was able to use a lot more items and my alt moves, then I think it would have looked a lot better than now. It's because I didn't have any money, that's why. Because I spent so long here trying to figure out how to make this table work, because there had to be 3 seats because there were 3 people living there. And I really like the idea of that a small table being here, because it's a small house and it's a small area and it's just like sitting there perfectly. But unfortunately, every small table, as you could see that I have tried, could not fit 3 chairs. I never really tried to put 3 chairs at a small table like that, so I didn't know if it would work. So this was kind of like my preliminary test out, and now I know that you can't put 3 chairs there. There we go. So I ended up having to use the big long wooden table from Cats and Dogs. It's one of my favorite tables. It's a really nice rustic looking barn like table. And I ended up really liking it. I put the chairs like opposite of the kitchen appliances, so it's like backs are right up against the edge of the porch. And I thought it made it like look really nice. It kind of broke up the area. There was enough room for them to work behind the table, to work at the stove and the counters and everything, and there was enough room for them to get to their chairs and not fall off of the porch. I think actually, in order to save money, I had to delete one of those stairs behind there, so there's just kind of like this awkward gap. That would look nice if I had some maybe landscaping next to it, but I couldn't have landscaping, so it's just gonna be that awkward little one stair leading up in the back, and then there's the 2 out front. But I actually ended up liking how the idea of this place turned out. It was exactly what I set my mind to. It was an outdoor kitchen, dining, and living room like I wanted. And I was able to fit the bedrooms and the bathroom inside of, I think it ended up being like 30 tiles. I had 2 tiles to spare. So this is me kind of playing around with like that seating area that I wanted down there. And then as I was doing it, I'm like, oh wait, I'm running out of money, aren't I? I must be reaching that edge. Because I'm looking through all of these nice outdoor things that we could have there, like the nice tables. I would love to have a table sitting area out there. It would be so cute, just looking out at the river and the giant dinosaur on the other side. But yeah, as you can see, I'm checking money. I'm like, oop, never mind. Delete. Because I wanted there to be at least like some type of skill building thing here. But that's not happening. The only skill that they're going to be gaining is cooking, unfortunately. Because it's all seemed a little too open for me here. Like anyone could just be looking in at these people living, cooking, sitting in their lives. So I decided to do like one of those big privacy fences here around the whole perimeter of the porch. And it ended up being something, I liked it. It was kind of that walled up porch, or the wall, like I wanted to use this fence for something on this build. I just didn't know what. Like I wanted there to be maybe a little garden or a little sitting area where we could just put that no peek fence around. But it ended up not working that way. And I actually liked how it worked out here, where we used it as a way to keep their privacy as they're living their lives on their porch because their house isn't big enough. So as we're kind of wrapping up here, it's getting towards the end. I'm checking my money. This is where I kind of start to panic, like, oh, I'm just a few over. How do I get rid of this? Oh no. I keep checking. I'm like, what can I do to get down past this 12,000 mark? So I'm literally like looking at everything like, well, maybe I can, well, the stairs, I already used the cheaper ones. It was a challenge. If you haven't tried this already, the tiny build challenge or whatever, I don't even know if there's a name for it or whatever. I'm sure you could just Google it and find the rules to play for yourself. Oh yeah, and they added this with they added the stilts with the update getting us ready for the tiny stuff pack, or the tiny house pack, and I am so happy. There were so many times where I wanted to have a foundation that were stilts, because that's something that you see, like, especially now that I'm living in Texas and I'm seeing all of these different architectures and all of these different buildings that I want to try to replicate in The Sims, because that's what you start to do once you're a builder. You start to look at real things and be like, oh, I wonder how I can build that in The Sims. Oh, I think I can build that in The Sims. It's just taken over my mind. I'm like, no, I used to not be like this. Stop. But I'm really glad that they finally got those stilt foundations, because it makes me doing like these tiny, especially the tiny homes, it makes it so much more realistic. And we've been having to use these columns as fake foundations for so long. I'm so happy that we finally have those. But here I'm fine. I'm getting rid of my wicker chair. Goodbye. Oh, sad. But I'm like scrounging as much as I can here to try to get it down to that 12,000 mark. And we're getting to the end. Slowly but surely. I'm like looking in. I'm like, then I see them. The lights. And which is really bad, because those lights were really doing it well with lighting that inside area there. So here I'm kind of, it was so hard for me to figure out what to do with these stairs, because I really like the look of them, like doing the double up, kind of opposite how they were. But I couldn't do it, obviously, because I needed money. So I could only do one stair, because stairs are sadly so expensive in The Sims. I don't know why. But thankfully, mailboxes are free. Which is a good thing, because I forgot about it till the very end here. And if I had to pay like 100 simoleons for a mailbox, I would have been very sad. Like, I need to get rid of how much to just be able to live? What? But anyway, we're kind of getting to the end here. I think we have like about like a minute left of me trying. It's literally just a minute of me going, I want this trash can. Why can't I have this trash can? So I'm getting rid of those lights finally. And that is what put me down to 11,975 finally. So I figured, this is as good as it's gonna get. This is it. We're done. I can't spend any more money. It's got 2 bedrooms technically, 1 bathroom technically. It's a full house. It has a kitchen and a quote unquote living room. You could put a TV there if you wanted once you live through that again. I might want to try, living in this house. See what happens. But anyway, I'm gonna wrap up, leave before I start coughing up my lungs. Thank you again. Like the video. Subscribe if you want more nice ramblings, as I just did. And as always, I'll be seeing you guys later. Bye.